This evening, Attorney General says framers of the Constitution made an error. 65-year-old woman dies in house fire. The Penitence burial ground was on fire yet again. In the region, PAHO calls on Caribbean to prepare for possible dengue outbreaks. And internationally, Algeria protesters continue demonstrations against BOUTEFLIKA'S bid for a fifth term. Greetings to our viewers in Guyana and around the world. Today is Friday, March the 1st, 2019, and this edition of Headline News is now being streamed live on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for joining us. On Friday, the High Court in Georgetown ruled in favor of the Berbice Bridge Company Incorporated for an order that the Minister of Public Infrastructure provides reasons for the toll order made by him. The toll order effectively froze the toll fares of the Berbice Bridge at current levels. After the BBCI published new fares in November 2018, the minister made the toll order under which the government took control of the Berbice Bridge and rescinded the proposed tolls. In response, the BBCI filed a case challenging the toll order made by the minister and demanded that he provide the reasons. As of news time, the ministry has yet to comment on the matter. The controversy surrounding December's no-confidence vote was heightened yet again after Attorney General Basil Williams said the framers of the Constitution made a mistake. Wendell Jeffrey explains what the Attorney General meant in this report.
No. 2 days after the successful passage of the no-confidence motion vote, Attorney General and Legal Affairs Minister Basil Williams said that a 33 majority is not an absolute majority, and therefore, the Speaker of the House, Dr. Barton Scotland, should not have allowed the motion to stand. He also filed a writ to challenge the toppling of his government by arguing that the voter, Charandas Prasad, was the holder of dual citizenship, and that too should have voided his vote. The Speaker of the House did not agree with the Attorney General. Yesterday, after the failure to secure an appeal court's stay of an interim order to reopen the government and void the status quo, the Attorney General told the journalists that a particular provision in the Constitution is erroneous. He was speaking particularly of Article 106(7) of the Constitution, which dictates that the government shall hold an election within 3 months after the successful passage of a no-confidence motion. Williams said that the government does not conduct elections and that clause was a hasty insertion into the Constitution and that the Constitution framers got it wrong. The Attorney General's comment comes as no surprise. The APNU-AFC, while on the campaign trail, did promise constitutional reform on their ascent to government. On the evening of the 3rd of January, moments before the Speaker of the House, Dr. Scotland, upheld the no-confidence motion vote, Channel 2 Headline News asked the then acting President, Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu, about the coalition's promise of constitutional reform. This is how he answered the question.
Mr. Prime Minister, I was going to ask you about the Constitution. You leave in the matter for the courts, but you guys promised constitutional reform.
Yeah, that's true.
And here you are with a constitutional crisis.
If we had if we had been looking at the constitutional crisis reform, we would have. This is one of the areas
exactly. So what kind of commitment are you prepared to give now?
Immediately, I did a bill, put it in the Parliament. The opposition say let's send it to the committee, the Constitutional Reform Committee of the Parliament. I sent it there. And they were supposed to meet, it's bipartisan, it's opposition and government, half and half. And they're supposed to look at it. I'm waiting on them to come back. Don't worry, Mr. Nandal keeps saying the Prime Minister looking for an excuse. I handed them the Constitution and the bill and said, bring it back to me, we'll set up a committee and then we'll take the evidence.
Okay.
So I'm committed to constitutional reform, and if nothing supports constitutional reform, right now we are in the middle of it.
All right, thank you for your time.
Appeal Justice Rishi Prasad said that he will give an expeditious decision after he has listened to the oral arguments on this matter later this month. For Channel 2 Headline News, Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. The establishment of an aerial support wing is high on the agenda for the new administration of the Guyana Police Force. In fact, on Thursday, Commissioner of Police Leslie James and his team met with representatives of American aviation company Midas Aviation Services, Inc. of Beach Air Park, Florida, USA. The discussion was focused on the formation of the Guyana Police Force's aviation wing, where matters such as having appropriate response capabilities, training, maintenance, and sourcing of the most suitable aircraft were addressed. According to the Force's Public Relations Department, the establishment of aerial support will improve the Force's response capabilities as well as build public confidence, gather real-time intelligence, and reduce crime and the fear of crime. The engagement was detailed and comprehensive and will aid in the administration's focus on the way forward as it aims to launch its aviation infrastructure. The team consisted of former members of the Guyana Defense Force, as well as the police force. The new administration of the Guyana Police Force has listed infrastructure as one of 3 primary areas in its reformation process. When we come back from the break, La Penitence burial ground was on fire yet again, and 65-year-old woman dies in a house fire. But first, here are today's foreign currency exchange rates. For the latest in news from Guyana, the region, and beyond, visit our website, headlinenewsguyana.com.
Hello, baby. Yeah.
It's knocked away from Young Huang.
Yo, why you gotta get away from the credit, buddy? I recommend that you for blah blah. Let you actually get, but it's not you that buy back the credit when it's done. Buy back because she money from Fab 5.
Activate the GTT Fab 5 plan today. For only 5,005, you get free unlimited calls to 4 of your closest family and friends, 5 gigs of data plus 250 text messages, and your Fab 5 friends can call you for free. GTT Fab 5.
Wait. So who we putting as we Fab 5? Yes.
This place is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princeton Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
Need a ride around town and beyond? Look no further than Oasis Ride Taxi Service. With affordable prices and some of the best drivers in the business, we've been delivering prompt and reliable service to Guyana for over 16 years. We also offer tours, chauffeur service, and even car rentals. You can call us at 231-5554 or 225-5496. For deals, specials, and more information, find our page on Facebook. Oasis Ride Taxi Service. Let's go. back. The Ministry of Public Infrastructure is currently constructing a new concrete double-lane bridge at Maruka, Barima Waini, Region 1. According to the Tushao of Santa Rosa, Juanita Phillips, it is expected that more than 10,000 residents in the region will benefit from the development. The $119 million project will bring relief to the residents who for years had to contend with an old wooden bridge that was below water level. The new bridge is being built with a concrete deck supported by steel beams and a timber substructure. The length of the bridge was also extended since the approaches are prone to flooding. The bridge will also be high enough to allow for boats to pass under it. The bridge is expected to be completed within the coming weeks. A family in the East Coast Demerara village of Nonpareil are now mourning the tragic loss of their elderly mother in a house fire that occurred early Friday morning. Esther Sobers spoke to the family and the neighbors, and here's what they have to say.
This was the scene Friday morning after a fire suspected to be electrical in nature broke out at around midnight. The blaze killed 65-year-old Rovana Hussain while she was inside her home located at Nonpareil Public Road, East Coast Demerara. The fire quickly ravaged the two-story building and came close to damaging neighboring businesses. One neighbor who declined to appear on camera noted that she was grateful that her house wasn't gutted by the fire.
Some people came to my gate and were shouting for us to get out of the house because the neighbor house was on fire. So when we came out, we tried hurry to take our vehicles out from the yard. And when taking the vehicle out, I noticed it's not the house next to us, which is the tire shop, but the house after the tire shop. And the entire house was on fire already. And when passing back, the lady that was living in the house, she was shouting. But the fire was so much, no one could not go into the house.
She was shouting from her window, from the veranda. Where was she shouting from?
In the house. I have no idea which part of the house. I just heard like two scream and that was it.
The elderly woman lived alone in the house as her son, who lived in another village, would visit her. Firefighters were praised for saving the businesses located next to the house. According to the police report, the electricity of the house was disconnected, but only recently reconnected by GPL last Thursday. The charred remains of the deceased woman was found in a lower flat of the house. Her body is currently at the parlor awaiting post-mortem. Less than 2 weeks ago, in Monrepo, East Coast Demerara, another elderly woman lost her life due to fire, as she was home alone and trapped inside the building when the fire occurred. For Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Yesterday, the La Penitence Cemetery was on fire yet again. Wendell Jeffrey tells us why in this report.
It seems like someone or some group of individuals has recommenced lighting fires in the La Penitence Cemetery. All this week, folks who traverse Vicindian Road, which runs through the cemetery, had to endure thick clouds of smoke. The residents living on Sussex Street and the Castello neighborhoods have had to also endure thick plumes of smoke. Some of the residents complained that the smoke causes breathing problems for them, the elderly, and their children. Some residents also complained that the constant smoke causes their asthma to act up. Channel 2 Headline News contacted the Public Relations Officer for the Mayor and City Council, Deborah Lewis, and she said that the council did not give permission and does not give permission to anyone to light fires in the cemetery. Lewis said that another reason for the fires is that people burn the trash that they dump in the cemetery. The Public Relations Officer said that systems are in place and will be beefed up to catch the perpetrators who are lighting these fires. For Channel 2 Headline News, Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. Don't go away. Coming up after the break. PAHO calls on Caribbean to prepare for possible dengue outbreaks. And Algerian protesters continue demonstrations against President's bid for a fifth term. But first, here's this week's Bridge Attraction schedule.
What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
Switch over to GTT right now, no. Because all this time and money I waste on a calls alone can just send up my blood pressure.
You've come to the right place.
Really?
Once you're switched over with our network, you can activate our Fab 5 plan. With our Fab 5 plan, you can enjoy free unlimited calls with 4 family and friends.
You got to be kidding me.
You will also get 5 gigabytes of data with 250 text messages.
You got to be kidding me.
And your chosen 4 can also call you for free.
You got to be kidding me.
Activate the GTT Fab 5 plan today. For only $5,005, you get free unlimited calls to 4 of your closest family and friends, 5 gigs of data plus 250 text messages, and your Fab 5 friends can call you for free. GTT Fab 5.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news from the region. The Pan American Health Organization, or PAHO, has called on countries in the Americas to prepare for a timely response to possible outbreaks of dengue fever. The disease is endemic in the region and since its reintroduction in the 1980s has caused cyclical outbreaks and epidemics every 3 to 5 years. Here's more.
The Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, wants the Caribbean to be ready to respond to possible dengue outbreaks. According to PAHO's latest update on dengue published on February 22nd, over 500,000 cases of dengue were reported in the region of the Americas in 2018, including 3,535 severe cases and 336 deaths. During the first 6 weeks of 2019, almost 100,000 cases of dengue were reported in Latin America and the Caribbean. Of these, 632 cases were severe and 28 people died from the virus. The main recommendations from PAHO focus on countries intensifying disease surveillance, as well as vector control measures to reduce mosquito populations that transmit the disease. Currently, the only way to control or prevent the transmission of the virus is the fight against the Aedes aegypti, the main mosquito vector. The organization also recommends continuing to educate the population as well as community involvement initiatives. PAHO is also asking that countries ensure health professionals are trained in the diagnosis of dengue and other viruses, as well as in the adequate measurement of patients. PAHO provides technical cooperation to prevent and control the disease. The organization regional advisor on dengue, Jose San Martin, says the key is to recognize the warning signs early and to provide the care required to prevent it progressing to more serious forms. Recently, local health officials confirmed that they are on high alert after noting a slight increase in the number of dengue cases in the last quarter of 2018. Chelsea Joseph, HDS News Force.
And in international news, citizens in Algeria are up in arms as their current president, Abdelaziz Bouteflika, is contesting a 5th term in office. After spending over 2 decades in office, the protesters, many of them under 30, are calling for the ailing president to step down. France 24 has more.
It's been almost a week since they took to the streets, protesting against a 5th term for President Bouteflika. who at 81 years old has been in power for 2 decades. In a country where half the population is less than 30 years old, the young are at the front line of the protests. Among France's Algerian population, there's also concern.
The situation in Algeria is very serious because the system is corrupt. We cannot continue with this system.
He doesn't fulfill the conditions to stand. He's unfit. He's incapable of speaking or thinking.
The president's given no speeches and has appeared only a few times in public since suffering a stroke in 2013. He's currently receiving medical care in Switzerland and has made no comment on the protests. The government, while recognizing the right to protest, warned against threatening the country's stability.
I'm not trying to scare the people. No. I'm not trying to take advantage of the past. But we should recall that in Syria, it also began with roses.
State media only started covering the protests on Tuesday after journalists publicly complained they were being prevented from doing so. On Thursday, police broke up a protest against censorship, taking a dozen journalists into custody for several hours before releasing them.
Here's your 3-day weather forecast. And that's Channel 2 Headline News for this Friday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to find Channel 2 Headline News on Facebook, YouTube, and our website, headlinenewsguyana.com. You can also tune in 6:30 Sunday evening for a rebroadcast and Monday evening at 7 for more news. For now, I'm George Gonzalez, signing out from your newscast saying thank you for welcoming us into your home and do have a blessed weekend.